If you're looking to start up a clothing brand with $0, chances are you may have seen a couple of my videos in the past. And in this video, guys, we're not only going to be talking about print on demand, in addition to showing you the nuts and bolts and some of the behind the scenes as we build up this storefront and show you how to do it step by step, we're also going to be visiting Gelato, who made this video possible. Now, Gelato is bringing together a powerhouse of entrepreneurs who are building brands that are making millions of dollars every single year. These entrepreneurs are going to be sharing their techniques that made them successful, so you're going to want to watch to the very end. Now, regardless of whether you decide to take the print-on-demand approach or you decide to build up your own custom collection, whatever that may be, the very first thing that you need to keep in mind is the niche that you're going to enter. And oftentimes, entrepreneurs don't really know what niche they should start with, so let's begin there. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of the word niche before, what it essentially means is a subgroup of a bigger topic. And when it comes to running an e-commerce store, riches are in the niches, right? So you need to keep that in mind. You first need to identify what niche or niche you're going to be jumping into. When it comes to niches and trying to find the one that most resonates with where you are, I think it's always important to take a deep dive as to what your personal interests are. Start there a little bit. Whether you like cars, whether you like fitness, whether you like whatever it is that you generally like, start with the niches in those topics, and then we're going to verify if it's a good niche for you to get started with. Now, if you have no idea, you don't really have any interest, and you're just looking to start selling some products, some of the top niches for 2024 are these here. Now, pets are always something that's trending. It's trending a lot more because people don't want to have kids for some reason. And I got 2 kids. They're incredible. You should consider some. But if you don't and you want pets, pets is definitely a niche. Now, this is a broad niche. It's a general topic. So from there, you want to kind of condense it into somewhere where you could fit and really crush it. Now, in order to figure that out, we're going to head on over to this tool here. We're going to use a tool called Google Trends. Now, through Google Trends, what we're going to do is we're going to look up pets. And it's going to be very generic, but what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to go past 5 years, not pets, but let's go dogs. And in the past 5 years, you could see that it stayed pretty consistent, but really trending up since 2004, since the beginning of this tool. Now you can see that this continues to be a trend that goes up. And if you want to compare it just for some dogs versus cats, there's definitely a lot more dog lovers than there is cat lovers. So remember, pets as a whole is a niche, but now we're diving into a sub niche, a little bit smaller niche, which is dogs. But what we really want to do is we want to find a certain type of dog. Now at this point, you could decide, okay, I just want to go into the dog niche. I want to create all kinds of products for any type of dog. And that's a great place to start. You can essentially offer all kinds of product varieties for all kinds of different dog owners, or generalized merchandise or products for a pet. Or you can start with a subgroup of it and start really messaging a certain customer that's going to want to buy your products. That's the difference between creating a brand that's more generic and it's available to everybody, and then creating a product that gets your foot into the door to a customer that then wants to buy your product, support your brand. And from that, you can start to expand on the different dogs or different industries that you're in there. So like, let's say we wanted to have a dog niche and we wanted to niche down. Now, I used to have a German Shepherd, so we're going to go with an example of a German Shepherd dog. So German Shepherd dog breed. Now, you could see that over Google Trends, German Shepherds had a pretty big peak back in 2020. They had a lot of searches for them. Now, but let's say we want to go with Labradoodle. Maybe we want to compare it to a Labradoodle. Maybe we want to make merch for Labradoodles. And German Shepherds are still trending more than Labradoodles. So in this example, Google Trends helps you verify which animal you may want to start creating products for. In this example, German Shepherds beat the Labradoodle dog breed in terms of search volume. This means that the amount of searches that people are taking for this dog breed is almost 7-8 times more than this other dog breed. So German Shepherds is a great niche, but this is just an example, guys, because the idea here is that you want to pick a subject that you can really enter the market with new products that you design. And if you want to take it a step further and really differentiate yourself, you start by speaking to a subgroup of that market. In this example, German Shepherd lovers and people that had German Shepherds, and you can make products for them. And I'll tell you what, guys, my animal, I love my dog, and I would buy stuff around it. So great niche, great idea. Pets is a good industry. And if you're not really sure what niche you should enter, consider using ChatGPT or doing some Google searches and fine-tuning what industry you're interested in. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be what you can sustain and what you have a passion to do more research around. if you're diving into this brand or into this business as just a way to like go to the top trending thing and making products around it, it's going to get old really quickly and you're going to fall out really fast. But the brands that last are the ones that can withstand the ups and downs. And you do that by being passionate about what you're working on. Now, once you decide on your niche, the next step is in selecting products for them. Now, this is going to be a variety of different products that you're considering to market and to sell. Now, this could be hoodies, it could be mugs, it could be cups, it could be leashes, it could be almost anything that you can think of that your niche market would want to buy from you. By selecting the products, it also allows you to find suppliers that specialize in those products. A lot of times people just go to a certain supplier and then they're like, okay, well, I just need to get whatever's on this platform. But the reality is, guys, if you're going to be starting up a brand with print on demand, you need to find suppliers that specialize in the products that your market is buying. Now, if you have no idea, this is the very first time you're starting a brand, a good way to kind of figure out which products you should be selling, either Google searches or ChatGPT. So that's something that you should keep in mind, is the products that you should source should be something that people are looking to buy right now. And since in 2024, home decor is trending, that has to be a product that you need to add to your collection. Home decor is anything like wall art, canvases, it could be pillows, it could be anything that decorates the home. And if you could tap into somebody's home, your brand is a conversation starter. And anytime somebody comes over or they see it in a photo, they're gonna say, hey, where'd you get that? And they're gonna point to your store. So home decor is a great place to start. But again, there's also apparel products such as shirts, hoodies. So you're looking for a supplier that can kind of have all of the trending products that are selling in the market. So do your research on what products your customers are looking for. And then when it comes to print on demand, find a supplier that can get it to you and that can get it to your customers fast. Because once you select the products that you're looking to sell, the next step is into creating the graphics or the portraits or the images that are going to go on it. When it comes to print on demand, the only differentiator you really have is your design and branding. So whatever product you're selling needs to resonate to that target, that niche that we're talking about. So if you have a product that's really good quality, mixed with a really good design, tailored to the niche audience member that you're after, you're essentially going to be able to get the sale and get the repeat sales. And that's the power of print on demand. And when it comes to creating designs for these products, there's a lot of tools out there. Guys, there's Adobe Photoshop, there's Illustrator, you have Kittl, you have Canva. There's all kinds of options that are available to you right now. Now, one of the things I would tell you to consider is to choose a platform that you're most comfortable with. But when it comes to print on demand, one of the key components to getting high quality graphics is in getting vector-based art and high resolution files. Typically, this means that you need to get an Adobe or an Illustrator subscription in order to accomplish this. But when it comes to paying for Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, you're looking at a package of around $60 a month. It's not necessarily sustainable unless you're building on a skill set like I just mentioned. So when it comes to this, a great tool to keep in mind is called Kittl. Kittl allows you to create print-ready graphics. And this is definitely what's going to separate you from everyone else out there, because chances are people are making stuff on other programs and they're not getting the best resolution, which doesn't translate to the best print. If you can get the highest resolution graphics with vector-based art, it allows the printers and the print providers you're going to be working with, it gives them the power to create your product as best as they can. So to create our design, we're going to use Kittl. Now, since our audience are creative entrepreneurs who are building streetwear brands and clothing brands, we're going to be diving more into the designs that have to do with something that we do as street crafters, make more than money. Now, the whole concept behind starting a brand and starting a side hustle isn't to make money. So we want to create a little bit more of an inspirational, motivational message. Before I start designing, remember we talked about a niche. And with a niche in mind, I started to research some brands that had a little bit more motivational and inspirational messaging, which landed on one of the brands from a good friend of mine, Mentality. So Mentality has this hoodie here that I really think they killed a design on, and it's hard work and God's work on the back as well as on the front. Now, since we have a tagline that we say make more than money, we want to do a make more than money on the front and a make more than money on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for some templates that are a little bit more in line with our branding. So remember, don't just straight up copy their fonts and all these designs, guys. Make it creative, make it your own. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to go for templates, and the templates that I'm going to go with are some of the ones that are for t-shirts. What you're really looking at is what placement or what fonts or what design aesthetic do you want your brand to take. You don't necessarily want to always just use their design. You want to tailor it to make it your own. We're going to look up money. Now let's see what comes up for money. Now for browsing here, this right here automatically stood up to me. It says beauty money. So I was like, yo, this could potentially work for make more than money. Now in the template, they had the rows and I thought it looked kind of cool. Now what I want to do is create a new project and create and really import those fonts. So I really liked the Brookfield here. I could have just done it from scratch, but I like to just copy and paste things and make it simpler. We're going to paste it in here. We're going to create our make more than money t-shirt design, grids and spacing. Then we're going to import our own logo into it. Remember, everything that you're doing, you want to make your own. And what's pretty cool about this type of software is that it also allows you to do vector art. So we can import a JPEG or a PNG and actually convert it into vector and then change colors for it. So we're going to do that. We're going to change our black logo into a white logo. First, we're going to vectorize it, and then we're going to change the color of it. With our design vectorized and the proper placing, we're going to actually start playing with some mockups on the design here. Now, it's important that you start to put the designs on products that you're thinking about creating. So in this example, we're going to put it on the back of a sweater just to see if it comes out as we envisioned it. This right placement looks legit. And the next step you're going to want to do is actually start putting your designs on mockup. We're going to show you guys how you can also do this on Gelato, because Gelato has some powerful mockup makers as well, but it always helps to design and be able to see it in real time and make those adjustments. I really like how it came out on the right pocket of this design that we're looking at. So we're going to download the mockup. We're going to download it in high resolution with no background, and then we're going to place it on a couple of other products. Now, one of the things you should consider doing is creating your line sheet of the designs. Now, what this essentially means is you're going to be bringing in the designs onto flat lay products. Even if it's not the exact same style of hoodie, it gets you pretty close in the ballpark and starts to allow you to see your vision coming to life. So we're going to do a flat lay on the front of the hoodie with the make more than money, and then we're going to bring the back of the design into it as well and expand that as big as we can get it to see how it's going to look on the front and the back. Now we're going to download those mockups, and then what we're actually going to do is drop them into a Google Slides. All right, so as you can see, this was the inspiration and this was our take on that. So make more than money. We're going to create another slide for our next design and essentially replicate this for as many designs as we think of coming up with. Now, when it comes to designing, you always want to have pretty good balance. I mean, and that's what's really cool about Kittl, is that they at least give you the lines to let you know that you're in balance between left, right. So you have some generic placing, but it really is whatever you want to make it. So art is in the eye of the beholder. Just do you, make it yours. And we're going to wrap up this design here to really make the make more than money come out. Now, as I mentioned, I think it'll look pretty good on posters. And as you can see, we just created some designs pretty quickly. And this is the power of doing things with print on demand, is that you can go from ideas to mock-ups to physical products pretty easily. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to import all of the designs that we came up with. We're going to bring the posters in here, some of the home decor, and then we're going to bring some of the apparel items that we have. Just import it all so we can see how our collection of our first drop is going to look, and we can get a real good feeling about which products we might actually want to sample versus which products we might just want to add to the store. And here it is, guys. It really helps to visualize what you're designing. It gives you a good idea if you're heading in the right direction. You could also get some surveys and some feedback from people that are in your audience, so you can actually ask them, hey, is this something that you would buy? And if it's a pretty good perception to it, then you can move forward with putting it on your store. And if you're unsure about it, you already spent your time doing it, design it, put it up there. It's not going to hurt you because you don't have to pay anything until after it's actually sold. And we're going to be diving into more ways to manage your cash flow, especially with some really cool tools that are available that allow you to not come out of pocket at all. So you're going to want to stick around for that. And once we have our designs, it's time to start importing them into the print on demand platform. Now, in order to make the products, we're going to be using Gelato, and we included some links in the description right down below. I highly encourage that you create your account with our link, as they're giving you 50% off your first order if you place the order within 3 days of creating the account. Now, this is a special bonus that they're giving to everybody watching, so make sure you claim it for yourself. Gelato is incredible because it offers all of the products that we designed. And what's pretty cool and separates Gelato from the rest of the print on demand platforms is the fact that they actually have a network of print shops. Now, this is a little bit different than what other print on demand platforms are doing, because they're heavily invested in helping you route the order to the closest point of your customer. So let's say somebody is in Europe, or even let's just throw a country out there like Australia. Now, if somebody's out in Australia and you're selling from the US, typically you would have to fulfill an order from either the US, ship it overseas, and then have to pay customs and all this other stuff on top of importing your product into that country. Now, what Gelato is doing is essentially anytime somebody gets an order from your store, they find out where the customer lives and they route the order to the closest fulfillment center that can make that product for your customer. And in this example, as you can see here, they actually have some places in Australia. So if your customer was in Australia, they wouldn't make it in the US and then ship it to Australia. They would route the order to an Australia facility who would then make it and ship it locally. This allows Gelato to be super sustainable because they're not shipping products by air or by boat. It's literally being routed to the closest facility in the person's home country. And with over 130 production partners in 32 countries, this really helps them stand out because they're in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, Asia Pacific, as well as the Americas. So if you're selling in Mexico, selling in Brazil or Canada, this allows you to get your products to your customers quick because it's being made locally and shipped to them within a few days. Now, Gelato has an expanded library of products, and I think they're killing it when it comes to wall art, phone cases, mugs, and accessories. Now, this is a great platform to plug into. Now, once you sign up with your information, it'll give you access to all the products and allow you to start designing. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, they are available on the Shopify store. Just look up Gelato Print on Demand and it'll come available there and you can install it right into your storefront. But for this tutorial, we're going to take this route to show you everything on the back end before we plug into Shopify, which we're going to be diving into details in the next few minutes. Now, once you're signed in, you're going to see a dashboard that looks like this. In the orders area is where you can actually keep track of any orders that are coming, as well as being routed to a facility or being delivered to a customer. The product catalog allows us to start looking at the different products in the library that's available. The storefront is where it gives you some of the direct integrations. We're going to be talking about that in just a moment. All right, so let's start looking at some of the products, including the hoodies that we're looking to design. Now, when it comes to hoodies, there's a wide variety of different prices available on Gelato. And the price that's listed here is the cost that you're going to pay to make the product. And then there's a standard shipping cost here that'll essentially be associated with every order, which you essentially pass on to your customer. We can see stock availability right out the gate. So it actually allows you to see where stock is available for this product. And once we are pretty comfortable knowing, hey, we're going to be selling this product, but you can also take a look at a couple of different others. Let's say you want to go with a more premium. As you can see, they have a wide variety of different pricing options. The premium one, you can take a look at some of the details here. You can also see the stock availability, where it's at, and all the sizing measurements, so you know exactly how it's going to fit before you place an order, or you can communicate this to your customers as well. Now, I really want to see what the premium hoodies actually end up feeling like, so we're going to go with the premium product here. Start changing up some of its colors. We want to offer it in black. That was one of the color schemes we came up with on our line sheet. Again, you can actually go with a full spectrum of colors. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's start importing our art so we can start seeing how this mock-up is going to look on our store. We're going to drop in the front Street Crafter design, center it, and then we're going to drop the back one, which is going to be the floral money design. And then we're going to add it to our cart because we want to place a sample order for this. And then we can actually see the mock-ups in real time here. So mock-ups are automatically generated. You can see it on some people wearing it here. Very happy. They're very happy in our Street Crafter hoodie. And you can see the back of it. I think this looks solid. I'm really excited to see how it looks on the back of the hoodie because we went oversized. I really envisioned this to be an oversized print on the back, as big as it can get. Now, one of the products that caught my attention was the aluminum prints. I think this has a really big potential in the market. It's more of a premium product. You could really market it differently as an aluminum versus just a regular canvas. So we're going to drop our design in here. It's already formatted for it to be black. And we're going to drop it in here, make some quick adjustments. You see, if you keep the white background, I wanted to see how it looked with white. Wasn't a big fan, so we're going to head on over to the black one and see how that looks real quick. All right, there's a poster design. This is how it looks in a bedroom. You can envision it in some offices and more of the entrepreneurs that are the designers. Give them a motivational message every day. Make more than money. What are you gonna make today? It's gonna make you more money, but also more fulfilled. So now that we're happy with our design, we're gonna add it to cart. Now, once we place the order, it goes into our orders field. And in this orders field is where you can essentially manage your customers and give them updates if they're asking for shipping statuses and things like that. So you can also check to see where it's at. Is it being printed? Did the artwork pass? Is it being shipped, and what's the tracking number? Now, that's the really cool part about Gelato, is that they make it very easy for you to start customizing products, place a sample order for it, and communicate to you where the status of that is. And since every order is being routed to the closest facility, I just placed this order today, so I'm gonna see how long it actually takes to arrive to this door. And I'll let you guys know in just a few moments, but we're gonna continue on with the actual integration into Shopify. Now, integrations are crucial for print-on-demand providers, and when it comes to Gelato, they have the most popular marketplaces. Now, as a brand owner, you may be wondering right now, what's the benefit of using integrations? Well, think of integrations as a sales channel that will allow you to place it in front of a new audience. When it comes to e-commerce, you can sell it direct to your consumer using something like Shopify. Shopify allows you to build out your store, list your products, and collect those sales directly. But when it comes to reaching new audience members, and if you pick a niche that's in a different market, you may have some pretty good luck attracting those sales through platforms like Etsy or Amazon or some other platforms that are directly integrated with this print-on-demand platform. Now, when it comes to the integrations that Gelato offers, they have a direct connection to Shopify, Etsy, Amazon, WooCommerce, Wix, Squarespace, and BigCommerce. Now, these last couple are actually e-commerce platforms, so you could build your site on there as well. So you're not bound to just sell with Shopify. You have other options to build your storefront on, and you have platforms such as Etsy and Amazon that you can distribute your products to. Now, when it comes to selling on marketplaces, it's important that you know that marketplaces have additional fees. Now, every platform has either a transaction fee, which essentially means when they capture the payment on the card, they're going to charge you a percentage in order to make that transaction happen between the bank and your customer. But marketplaces have selling fees. Now, when it comes to selling fees, every platform is a little different. So what I did is I actually created a profit calculator here. I took a couple of different Excel sheets and I combined them, and I just made something really simple for you guys. So it is available to download. We're going to link it in the description right down below. Free of charge. You guys can use it. You guys can take it, abuse it, make it your own. What this essentially is we're going to be plugging in our supplier price. This is the pricing that we pay the print-on-demand platform to make the product. So in our example, we paid $31 to make a front hit and a back hit of a hoodie. Now, the listing price is going to be what we're selling it for on our e-commerce store, and the profit margin is what you get minus the sell price minus the supplier price. Allows you to at a glance see what profit percentage you're getting. But when it comes to selling on the marketplaces like I mentioned, now let's take Etsy for example. They have a 6.5% selling fee on their platform. So anytime you sell something, they charge a 6.5% on the total value of that item that you list on Etsy. So let's say we are listing it for $45. Now Etsy is going to essentially take 6.5% of that. So we're going to go equals listing price times 0.065, basic math, which means we're paying Etsy $2.93. So this brings our profit to $11 instead of what we had before, which was a good 14. Now that's a pretty substantial amount. Doesn't matter how much you're making, to almost $3 on every sale is pretty substantial. And when you have low margins, this is why print on demand gets a bad rap, because it is hard to make money unless you're able to demand higher prices. And in order to command better prices, you got to have a higher value for your products. What makes them so much more different? Or you got to compete on price and eat away at your margins. So let's say we're making this hoodie for $31 and now we're like, you know what, we just want to sell some, so let's see what we can make it with a $37 price. We see that we're making $3.60 per hoodie if we were to sell it on Etsy. Now, this is something that can either work for you or against you. It can work for you if you're getting volume out and you're getting these sales. You can stack up, $3.60 every day if they're fulfilling it for you. But you also have to keep in mind that you may have to collect taxes. Now, you usually have to collect taxes if you sell a product to a customer where your business is located. Some print-on-demand platforms will charge based on their locations of factories. So let's say if they have a factory in California, or if they have a factory in New York, they're going to collect just a blanket tax on things. Now, certain marketplaces don't collect taxes for you, but it is going to be something that you need to keep in mind and keep track of, because at the end of the year, you have to pay taxes on whatever is being sold in the nexus of your state. So if you're selling out of Las Vegas and somebody buys something in Las Vegas, Nevada, you need to collect a percentage of that. The majority of times, you're not going to be selling directly in your state, but if you're from California or New York or these other states where there's a large population and potentially your customer, you have to factor the taxes that you're paying into it. Now, when it comes to shipping fees, this is something that you could either take on yourself or pass it on to the consumer. I encourage you guys to pass it on to the customer because it could quickly eat into any profit that you have. Let's say you're selling it for $45 and you're already incurring a $2.93 here. Now, if you want to add a shipping fee, and let's say you're going to be charged $5 and you're going to give them free shipping, now you're only making $6 on every transaction. So you could quickly see if something's going to be profitable and at what price point you need to sell it at in order to make some money. And again, pricing is a strategy. Now, oftentimes Oftentimes when you're creating a product, you're wondering what should you sell it for? And this calculator here can at least give you some profit margins. But when it comes to the listing price, this is a question that a lot of people may have. What should you price your product at? Now, within your niche, you'll find other products that are selling similar to it. Now, the reality is that customers in that niche are gonna be used to paying those types of prices. So the very first thing you need to consider is what product you're selling. From that, you're gonna get some prices that are a range of that. So you're gonna be able to say, hey, this hoodie is selling anywhere from $35 to $45. 45 is a max in the market. So the price is dictated by what the consumer in the market is willing to pay. But you could change what the consumer is willing to pay based on the place, where you place that product. If you place that product on a marketplace that's selling for a lower price, you're not gonna be able to get that much higher of a price point. But if you're selling it in marketplaces that demand a higher price, you're gonna be able to raise the value of that product. And how do you raise the value of that product? It leads us into the fourth point, and that's in the promotions. How you position the company, how you position your brand, how you position the influencers you're working with. All of this can help dictate and give you a better price point, giving you better margins and overall profit. But this calculator here that's available for free allows you to at least get a little starting point here. It allows you to start seeing, hey, is a product going to be profitable within my niche? And if it isn't, maybe don't consider selling it. Or if you are considering to sell it, see it as a loss leader. What this means is milk at the back of a grocery store is usually sold at a very small markup. A lot of times it actually gets spoiled, they have to throw it out. But the main reason they have milk at the back of the grocery store is because everybody's there to buy it. So if you have a product that don't have that many margins with, but now you have other products that people can add to cart that you do have better margins with, this is a strategy of how you can start building a collection that may not seem profitable out the gate, but with other products being added to the cart, you can start making some money. But if you're looking at your collection as just a one-to-one and you're saying, hey, I'm only gonna be able to get $6 for this product, and you're disappointed, if you're only selling that type of product, chances are you're gonna end up disappointed. So the strategy is to look at the products within a niche, establish your brand within that niche and your authority, and then start expanding on product categories that can give you higher margins. Now, we're going to be linking this profit calculator in the links down below, as well as all of the resources that we mentioned. And a few days ago, we actually ordered this product. Now, of course, YouTube videos are not made in a day, and I actually filmed the ordering process a few days ago, actually last week. So I placed the orders for these products on January 16th, and they actually arrived on January 23rd. Now, if we're taking a look at the calendar, that's literally less than 5 business days. So within 5 business days, it was printed and delivered to my door. Now, it's exactly 1 week from the date of purchase if you're just looking at the calendar, but speed is definitely something that impressed me when it came to Gelato. Now, the order is ready for me to review, so I'm gonna grab that real quick and show you guys the overall quality. Now, what I'm really looking at is, can I sell it for a $45 price? And if I can't sell it, what price do I need to consider selling it at in order to move units? And is the print quality good? Is it gonna look good? Is it gonna look impressive in order for somebody to want to buy it and for me to be able to market it? These are all questions you're looking at when you're getting your sample. So let me take a look at this and see exactly what we got. All right, you guys, so our package came in a poly mailer. We're gonna open it up real quick. All right, let's start with a crew neck. Now, this is the crew neck that we got. Now, when it comes to the print quality on this, guys, this is actually super impressive. I am very impressed with the quality of the print. It's something that is very bright. You can see the details here, and it actually feels like a screen print. Now, when it comes to print on demand, there's a couple of different printing techniques to use. For apparel, it's traditionally always been DTG, which is direct to garment. This is a DTG print, but whatever printer or the print providers that they're working with, definitely put a pretty good color saturation in it, because the color looks A1. It actually feels like a screen print, which is pretty cool. You could feel a little bit like sticky. So that's something that you need to know about doing anything with print on demand, especially with apparel, is that they use a pre-treatment, and that pre-treatment can sometimes feel a little sticky. So in order to get rid of it, you just need to throw it in the wash. So it's always recommended that you wash the products before you wear it, because there is pre-treatment on them. The front, simple white. Overall, the crew neck, solid design for $18. This is definitely something that we could sell for $35. So I'm impressed with it. Overall, it came exactly as we designed it, which is why I said how important it is to have high resolution DPI, because the higher the resolution, the clearer the print will look. In this example, Gelato is doing a great job at keeping their network. This is our Make More Than Money shirt, which is going to be listed on the store that we're going to be creating in real time. So if you guys like this design, make sure you go check out the store and get one for yourself. Now, when it comes to what we do on the channel, we're very much in the apparel space. So anything garment, fabrics, weights, stitching, construction, I'm very, very, very critical of that. When it comes to the print quality is there on this. Definitely A1 on the print quality. The blank quality for this hoodie, but this isn't a product I'd feel comfortable selling for $45. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, when it comes to hoodies, if you're gonna be selling something for $45, $50, $60, it definitely needs to be a little bit elevated touch. And this, to me, feels like a product that you could sell for $35, $40 max. We're gonna have to adjust it and maybe sell it for $37 and use it as a loss leader like we were talking about. But that's the reality of sourcing with print on demand, guys. You don't always get exactly what you want, and that is one of the downfalls, is that you can't control what your customers are gonna get. So you definitely need to price it where whenever a customer buys it and receives it, they don't feel like they bought something mediocre. You need to match the value with the product. The print quality, A1, definitely A1. Now, when it comes to print on demand, it is important to know that whatever fabric you choose is going to play into how well the print comes out. If you have a product that has some polyester in it, if it's like 60-40 and it's not all 100% cotton, you will have a variation on the actual print. But for this one, they mastered it. Whatever settings they put, I love it. The next product that we're gonna unbox is the poster. Now, this is a poster, the aluminum poster I ordered. So let's open up this box and see how this poster came out. This was the aluminum one. So this poster here also has some hanging instructions. Overall, it's packaged really nicely. So this is the way that the customer will receive it. So if you were to ship this to them, it'd come in a box like this. Let's open this up. Guys, definitely impressed with this poster here. When it comes to these types of products, like I was mentioning before, this is something that you could sell as a home decor item. So if your audience and your niche is buying this or wants to retrofit it, you could personalize somebody's home. I mean, that's the whole advantage of using print on demand, is that you can expand to different categories pretty quickly. And the quality of this print is incredible. Take a look at that. This is a detail here. Very impressed with this. The quality of this poster, really nice. This is solid. This is something that I would be very, very happy selling for $35, $40. We'll plug it into our profit calculator and see what the margins is on that. But as an entrepreneur, having a message that inspires you daily and being able to retrofit it in an office or a bedroom, that's the idea behind the posters and some of the other accessories that Gelato has to offer. Overall, the quality of this aluminum poster here is A1. I love it. It's definitely something that if you were to try to make at a print shop, they'd probably charge you $100 just for a sample. But with this, you can get it at the cost, at a wholesale cost that you have margins to mark up with. Overall, that poster, incredible value, hands down, one of the best products I've seen in the market when it comes to canvas art. Because it is an aluminum canvas art, it is a little bit more premium. So if you could do some good marketing around that, you're set to have higher price points on those types of products. And with the samples on hand, you're able to take photography as well as videos to promote this product on social media. For us, we're gonna need some images for the store. So we're gonna be compiling some images that we can use as banners as well as details on the product listings themselves. Again, we're going to highlight the print over the quality of the hoodie in order to really make it shine. And when it comes to the poster for the wall art, we're going to hang this up in the office and start doing some photography and some little social media presence in order to show people what it is that we created. Now, these are just some ideas of how you can use samples. Another way you should leverage samples is go into your niche and see what they're doing with their product placement. And then use the Instagram or TikTok templates in order to create the edits for you. You don't necessarily need any editing experience or tools. Just use templates and start posting and start tagging and start sharing. The more people see it's real, the higher the likelihood they are to trust you as a store, because oftentimes trust is difficult to build with new e-commerce brands. People may not think you're real, or they may think that they may never get the product. So you need to be able to build as much trust as you can, and you can do that by posting on social media frequently and letting them know that you're around, you're legit, people are using your products, and they should consider buying yours too. Now, these are all assets that you're gonna use, so definitely make sure you consider getting some of the samples to build out your e-commerce store. With the samples on hand, you're now ready to start creating your actual website. Now, when it comes to e-commerce, Shopify is hands down the best e-commerce platform that allows you to plug into almost any other storefront or marketplace that you can think of. So in order to get started, we linked a free trial down below. By using the links in the description down below, you not only get to start a free trial, you also get Shopify for $1 a month. Now, once you enter in your email, it'll essentially onboard you. It'll ask you what it is that you're looking to create, what it is that you're looking to sell. Because what Shopify is doing is it actually is building out a dashboard that's going to be personalized to where you are. If you're just getting started and you're not really sure what you're going to be doing, they're going to give you more tutorials based on that. If you're planning to connect it to a retail or sell at events or boutiques, they're going to set up a dashboard for that too. All right, you guys, once you actually sign up, you're going to hit this dashboard. And the very first thing that you want to do is essentially connect your website domain. So if you didn't buy a website domain from Shopify and maybe you have it hosted somewhere else like I do on Namecheap, you're going to want to come to this process. So what you're going to do is you're essentially going to enter in the domain that you want to connect. Now from here, it's going to give you some instructions. Now look, these instructions can be a little overwhelming, but what you need to know is that you just need to update DNS settings. Now, if you're using a portal like Namecheap, which we linked in the description down below, what essentially is going to do is it's going to allow you to just streamline that. So instead of you having to put any info, you just head on over to your Namecheap account, select the domain that you're going to use, and then you're going to go to Advanced DNS. Now, from the Advanced DNS, you're just going to choose the Shopify integration there. Now, it's going to change all the settings to match what Shopify wants to see, and then all you got to do is head on over to Shopify. Now, if you don't have this feature, the important thing is you want to point it to that A record that you saw on screen, and Shopify gives you this connecting a third-party help page to help you do that. So don't feel overwhelmed. Just follow those instructions. It's a lot easier than it seems. Once it's pointing on your hosting, you need to verify the connection. Through Shopify, it'll actually start to load, and then it'll tell you, is it ready or not? Now, keep in mind, it could take a few minutes or it can take a few hours. So in my example, it actually took a few minutes. So as soon as I refreshed the page, my domain was connected. So it was pretty cool. Now, the next part of building a store is to actually have a theme and have a website presence. Now, what's really cool about Shopify is they offer free ones, guys. Don't overthink it if you're just getting started. The free theme store is a great place to start. And honestly, they have some really good options. So as long as you click on one that vibes with you, the key thing when it comes to choosing a theme is choosing one that matches where you're at the moment. So if you have a lot of products and you're planning to do a lot of different dropship products, chances are you're going to want to pay for a theme. If you're just getting started and you have an idea for a certain collection that's like a singular product, but maybe multiple options or variants, then that's when a free theme comes into play. Now, depending on how robust your business is going to depend on how much you got to pay for that theme. But if you're just getting started, the free themes are a great choice. The thing that you need to know about this is that you can have multiple themes living in your dashboard, and you could be working on them behind the scenes before you publish them. So in this example, you could see that this one is, this is the down one, it's the free one. So it already pulls in all our products. Since we already have some collections built out, it starts to bring in those collections. So now all we got to do is update the imagery. So we're not going to dive into a full e-commerce website build here, guys. I just wanted to show you guys how simple it is to get started and not to overthink it. But if you do want a step-by-step tutorial in regards to how to actually build a storefront, from connecting a domain, installing a theme, working the theme, changing icons, and really good tutorial, I'm gonna link a video right over here on the cards, which really dives into those details. And once you have that done, comes the next part: connecting the products that you made with Gelato to your Shopify store. All right, so regardless of how you started this process, you could have launched a Shopify store and then connected Gelato, and you'd follow a similar process. Or if you followed the links to create a Gelato account, chances are you already have your samples or you've been looking into it. So all you got to do is connect the app to the Shopify, and now the two are communicating with each other. So for this tutorial, we're going to connect the app after we already have an account. So what we're going to do is we're going to head on over to Gelato by looking it up in the App Store. They got different tiers. The free to install, it gives you everything that you need. The other paid tiers give you some premium features such as mockups, personalization, and things that we're going to get into in just a minute. Now, once you install the app, it's actually going to ask you to sign into your account. Now, just sign up with your email. verify your account, and now you're good to go. And now that you're in here, it's going to ask you, do you want to automatically fulfill products or manually? Now, this is going to depend on what you're doing. If it's just a straight print-on-demand product, you want to do it automatically. If it's a personalized product that you might have to approve, you want to do it manually. But to give you these two options, so you have a lot more flexibility. It's also then going to ask you about shipping rates. Do you want to have live rates or flat rates? And to start, the flat rates is the simplest way. Live rates will change based on the customer, but a flat rate will just give you a ballpark of what that customer is going to pay. So it's easier for the customer to close. Now that you created the account, you went to that little tutorial. The next thing is to either connect a product that you're currently selling. So let's say you're currently selling something and you want to switch to Gelato to fulfill that product. That's when you'd click on Connect Products. If you want to create a whole new product that Gelato will fulfill, you'd essentially select that option. That's what you can see here. Is this is all the different products that are being fulfilled with multiple print-on-demand companies, and it's telling you that it's not connected there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to our product catalog, because remember, we created one template. We didn't create the other templates for the samples, but we did create one template that we can essentially start with here. Now we're going to open up that template. That product template allows you to copy and paste designs essentially. So if you design something for the first time, you can then create a template of it and make it easy to access again in the future. So in this example, we're going to put it into different colors, the royal, the red, and the black. Now what you see here too is something called layouts, and these layouts will essentially allow you to drop imagery in a little bit easier. So let's say you have a couple of different photos and you're working on a couple different designs, and maybe you don't have all the design programs and you just want to make it easy to kind of pick and choose designs. Layouts help you essentially drop in designs without any skills necessary, because they also have a designer tool that allows you to design within Gelato, which can then drop into these layouts. So Gelato definitely gives a lot of options to people that are just getting started or want some flexibility with design, as well as mockups and personalization, which we'll be discussing in just a minute, and the power of what this means. So that's essentially what layouts mean. The personalization side, we're going to jump into in just a minute. But now that we have the design for the basic product solidified that we want to publish to our store, we're going to drop in some of the mockups. Now, with the mockups, you could essentially just select the best ones that you want. They got a lot of different options, as you can see here. They got sleeves, they got all this back hoodie. Now, once you decide on the details of the product, such as the title as well as the description, next thing you're going to get into is the size chart. You could choose to publish the size chart, which it gives you, which is pretty cool. You can add tags as well as a collection where you want that product to live. Now, once you approve this, the next step is in the prices. Now, remember the Excel sheet I shared earlier? It kind of gave us an easy way to calculate prices and margins. Well, Gelato actually built that into their software. So what you can do here is it'll allow you to choose the retail price and then give you your profit margin once the costs are taken out. And so for this example, you can go with a straight percentage that you want to mark up. So let's say you want to have a standard 50% markup. In that example, it'll give you all of the different prices for all of the different SKUs in terms of a 50% markup from your product cost. So this is important to know about print on demand, is that it's not every product has high margins. So you need to be able to create a product that can give you high margins. So make sure you stick around right now, because we're going to be diving into exactly how to do that. Okay, once you're happy with the prices that you choose, remember those prices are going to be the things that plug into your Shopify store. So right now what it's doing is actually publishing the product listing with the mockups as well as prices directly to your Shopify account. So you don't have to do double the work. It just automatically goes over there. So if we go back to our Shopify dashboard, what we'll find is that we'll actually see the details that we transferred over. What's really cool is that you could just copy and paste a description, and with Shopify you can either rephrase it or have it say something else using AI. So even if you're not a copywriter, Shopify makes it easy to do that on this end. Now, once you're happy with those details, we're going to preview this in our store. So here's our storefront of the theme that we're working on, and here's the product page. Now you can see that you can select the different colors as well as the sizes. This is how the mockups show up. Looks super clean, professional, guys. This definitely isn't just a standard looking product. It looks incredible. And if you have the branding and the marketing behind it, you could demand these prices without having to pay a single cent out of your pocket to start. And that's how you publish a product from Gelato to Shopify. And the beauty about Gelato is that you could publish it to all the other platforms. So if you're thinking about selling on Etsy, on Amazon, or any other integration that they have listed here, you're able to publish directly to the stores in a similar manner. And right now, I want to cover 4 key features that I think Gelato is crushing it at with their app. And the first one is a personalization studio. Now, this is probably the most underrated tool that's on the market, but but it's super powerful because every print-on-demand seller I interviewed was using this in some capacity and killing it in sales. Now, what the Personalization Studio allows your customers to do is actually take the design that you create for a product and make it their own. They can add names, they can add dates, they can add all kinds of info that you program into it using Gelato. So this is really cool. The second one is the mockup generator. Now, the mockup generator here definitely goes next level in regards to helping your customers envision how that product's going to look on them, or potentially in their home or in their office. So this is definitely some elevated features that are available through Gelato. The third is actually in the expanding of your product design into multiple products, which I think this is actually really cool if you're selling a lot of different product lines to a lot of different customers. So what this essentially does is it allows you to upload a design and then assign it to different products that you choose and select. So it allows you to design products in bulk, so you can quickly publish new collections and new offerings at the push of a button. So we'll be diving into that one. And then last but not least is the online design maker. Now, if you don't have any designing tools, it gives you some imagery and some assets that you can start with. This is one that's a little bit advanced. We're going to be diving into this one in a future video, but for the most part, know that it's available, that you could start designing products using their design maker tool. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to start with the Personalization Studio, and like I mentioned, it's definitely an underrated tool in the e-commerce game, but it's really what is allowing some of these print-on-demand companies to scale. Because remember, when you're out shopping as a consumer, you're shopping for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthday gifts, whatever it is, you're looking for a personal experience that you can buy and gift to somebody. Now, think about that for your own brand. Instead of you just creating a design for a collection for your own brand, think about the power of changing that design a little bit to making it a personalized product for Father's Day or Mother's Day or whatever it may be, Valentine's Day. It could be a his and hers gift. And if you're thinking along that size as a brand and an entrepreneur, you're now getting to the core of somebody that may not have bought your product originally, but now because they're able to personalize it, it becomes their brand and you come to mind. That's why this tool is game-changing, guys. If you can implement it within your brand or within your collections, you can easily start making money. And the beauty about this is because it's a personalized product, you can increase your selling price. You're not just selling a hoodie with your brand name. You're selling a hoodie with their name on it. And now that allows them to pay a little bit more, and they're more comfortable doing it. So let me show you how the Personalization Studio works really quickly so you can see the power of this in real time. Now what you're going to do is you're actually going to go to the Personalization Studio in Gelato, and it's going to ask you, where do you want to put it? Now, when you choose the garment, it could be the garment, it could be a poster, it could be whatever you want it to be. It allows you to either do direct to garment or embroidery. And because Gelato is doing both printing methods, unfortunately, you can't mix and match. So you got to choose one or the other. So we're going to go with embroidery. And now what you can do is you can essentially drop your design in the front, upload your design, and then you can also choose where the personalization can go, like in the wrist. So let's head on over to the wrist. And what we're doing here is we're creating a mock-up of how that design will look on a store. So you're also setting the parameters of the information that they got to put. That's the important part. So from here, we're going to change the thread color to gold because we want to have like a gray and gold. And then we're going to change font sizes. So if the font sizes look a little funky, like in this example, they look a little bit like they're not going to look good, change the font size with embroidery, guys. Change the font style, change the font thickness. The size itself is going to make a difference. So you want to make sure that you guys are giving your customers the best experience. So make sure that you design with a good font. Now, once you set your parameters, this mockup that we're creating right here is actually just a mockup that's going to publish to your store, because in a moment you're going to see how the customer interacts with it. Now, in order to activate this feature, you do need to get a trial. You do need to activate an upgraded trial. What's cool is that it either charges on a transactional basis, so like a dollar an order, or if you want to drop the cost of the personalization, then you could pay a little bit more per month. So we're going to add our design, Street Crafter design, to the front. That's the one thing that they're not going to be able to change. We're going to go through the mockups exactly how we did earlier. We're going to choose the mockups that best represent what we're working on. We're going to have some models there. We're going to add the sleeve hit. We're going to change up the actual title, and then we're going to set the pricing for selling. So we're going to set the sell price. You're going to see everything exactly the same way that we did for the product before. And now what you're gonna see is that it's gonna come into the Gelato orders tab and it's gonna be publishing to your store. So let's check out how it looks on your storefront. All right, you guys, once it goes to your store, you can see that you can preview it directly in your theme. And in this example, this is how it shows up. It allows us to see the size, and then the customer sees the example that you put here. Now, again, guys, this is a very bad example, but think creatively here. What kind of fonts can you put? What kind of designs can you put to really elevate that product look and feel to match a higher price point? So once the customer clicks on personalized design, it actually takes them to a studio here. This is the design studio. So as a customer, they could change the Joe to a different name. So if Sandra, gives this hoodie to every new boyfriend that's a street crafter, then she could put his name up there and she keeps her name down there. She saves on those digitizing fees. It's a win-win-win. You make money, Sandra's happy, everybody's happy, Mike is getting it. So with that, you essentially now you have your hoodie sleeve, everything is good to go, and your customer is willing to pay more. That's the key point here with personalization, guys, is that if you give your customers the ability to interact and personalize a product, subconsciously they see a higher value to that. So the whole goal with this personalization studio is translating your brand's designs into a personalized product that somebody can claim as their own. And now that we have the storefront launch, I think it's important for us to cover the finances behind print on demand. So when it comes to print on demand, the way that the finances work is anytime somebody buys a product from your store, you're gonna get charged for that product. Gelato in this case is gonna charge our card in order to fulfill the order. We collect on what the customer gives us, but unfortunately, when it comes to using banks, the money isn't gonna be deposited in your account automatically. It actually takes a few days and sometimes weeks to get your money out. So that's really where a lot of the hurdles with print on demand is, because it's very hard to scale unless you have some money in the account or you have a really good credit card that you can put on file. But chances are, if you're starting it with $0, you don't really have much to your name. And this is what Shopify was experiencing, and they created a solution for it. That solution that's here to help you grow your print on demand business is called Shopify Balance. Now, Shopify Balance allows you to get paid faster. Since they're not processing through a bank, it's actually their own financial institution. The money is going to get put into your account as soon as the next day, or sometimes even the same day. It's pretty crazy to think. Now, they're also going to send you a card, and in that card, you can actually pay for business expenses that you're incurring. So this is a really cool tool if you're just getting started with e-commerce and you don't have the funding to charge multiple orders, because now the way it will work is you can essentially put the Shopify Balance onto your storefront and onto Gelato, and with that debit card you add it to the Gelato profile, and now anytime somebody buys from your store, the money is going to get deposited to that card pretty quickly, and then Gelato can charge that card as soon as the next day in order to process the order and ship it out. So Shopify Balance has no monthly account or transfer fees, no minimum balances. These banks sometimes want to charge you $10, $15 to have an account with them. Shopify said, F that. We gonna create an account for all entrepreneurs out here. So this is honestly helping millions of people. This is something I give them big kudos for. Shopify Balance bridges that gap. It allows you to get paid faster, which means you can pay the print on demand providers faster. Your customers get their order quicker, which creates a happy customer and potentially a returning customer to help you grow your business. And now that we have the store build out and the financing in place, it's time for us to head to Norway. And right now you may be wondering, John, what are we doing in Norway? Well, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned how Gelato made this video possible, and they actually invited us out to a summit where they're bringing together the top print-on-demand sellers around the world. Now, these guys are doing millions of dollars worth of transactions, and I'm going to be uncovering the most important techniques and tips that they have in order to be successful and sharing it here with you guys. So you guys are going to hear it straight from the source. Let's head on over to Norway and start uncovering those secrets now. And just in case you may be wondering, it is sub-zero temperatures right now. It's winter, but luckily I've been training it up with some ice baths. So wish me luck, and hopefully I'm warm enough to find this out for you guys. Let's go. All right, we got the man, the one and only Mr. Hugo Burns.
Hello, hello.
Hello, man. Hey, so tell everybody how the Sunday Mass started. What got you inspired? What inspired you to start this brand?
My name's Hugo Burns. I'm the founding father of Sunday Mass, Righteous Gymwear. Oh, I needed a t-shirt for my mate for Christmas. Couldn't find any good ones, so I decided to make my own. Based off the ideas that we had of going to the gym and treating it as a religion, the Church of Iron. We'd go there on Sundays and call it Sunday Mass, hence the gym, mass, Sunday Mass in the church. Yeah, it became a frequent thing that we did. So turned it out into a brand. Once I got those first couple of shirts in, I thought, you know, this is something that I reckon the public would like a lot. And yeah, I just found a lot of overlaps between the Bible and being in the gym, working towards that ideal of, you know, strength and confidence and just conquering your surroundings. Be about 2 years now. It's only just started resonating with my customers because I've defined it down, I've refined it a lot. For the first couple of years, it was just relying on organic, you know, people finding it, thinking, oh, that's cool, but there was not much growth. It's only when I've started advertising it with proper designs that really speak to the target audience in a, you know, message that speaks to the target audience that we've seen real growth. Targeting the right people with the right message, it's helped a lot. Making the website and the brand a lot more professional, you know, getting the website looking clean, functioning properly, making sure there was continuity between every product, every Instagram post, everything I put out. If it's all messy and there's, you know, you got a gorilla t-shirt over here and then you got a t-shirt of Jesus Christ, it's a bit messy. So just consolidating it, refining it, and the same thing for the ads, focusing on one type of medium, one type of message, and not varying too far from that, really just honing in and going for it. That's helped. That's the main thing that's helped. Designs, I think, making sure the designs are what the people want. Something that are cool, it's different, nothing else like it on the market. That helped the brand go a lot, because I had, I think, about 52 designs before, and they were all selling, you know, pretty mediocre, but it's only when I started doing designs that people really love, based off of biblical verses and stories, that I've seen massive growth, defining the brand to what it really is.
So were you a graphic designer, or you're working with graphic designers to make it? Like, tell us a little bit about how you come up with the designs and how do they get put on the shirts? I'm just a dude. I've got no team. If I see a cool picture, yeah, I get inspiration for it, turning into a design, obviously making it my own, making it different. There's no graphic design. I don't have any like formal education in graphic design. I just learnt myself through YouTube, through school a little bit, making memes for my mates and sending them to us. So I got a rough idea of Photoshop. Guys, so we're just getting back from Norway, and I want to give a huge shout out to the man Hugo Burns for blessing us with his knowledge and sharing those key tips. I highly encourage that you guys check out the Sunday Mass store. They're going to be killing it, and they're continuing to already grow. They're already at an incredible level, and I can see them only continuing to become the next big Gymshark brand. Now, there was other brands at this event, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to convince them to come on camera and share their store and the information that I wanted them to share with you. But that doesn't mean that I can't share what I found out. So let's begin with the first one, and that's in personalization. Personalization is one thing that these $1 million print-on-demand stores are doing incredibly well. They're crushing it by being able to actually allow customers to personalize a design that they create. This means that they're creating incredible, beautiful looking products. Some of these products I saw out there were honestly the creme de la creme. They're amazing designers, they're very creative, but then they also made those designs personalized. This means that their customers are able to add names, they're able to add events, whether it's a map company, whether it's a product company, whatever print-on-demand product they're selling, they're making it personalizable. That's a word. I think it is. So personalization is one thing that they're really killing it on, and they allow their customers to personalize it so that product becomes something that's a part of them. It identifies with that customer base. So because of that, they're able to charge more and have a better profit. The second is the marketplaces they're selling in. They're not just selling on one marketplace on Instagram or promoting in one channel. They're literally putting it in as many channels as they can, starting with Etsy. Etsy is one of the biggest marketplaces for personalization, so I encourage that you guys check that out. Now, through Etsy, they're able to easily capture orders, and with Gelato, they're able to bring those orders into their print-on-demand system and essentially fulfill it with very little bottlenecks in the process. This allows them to scale and continue to create more designs, and they treat Etsy like a social media platform. It's not a selling e-commerce platform, it's a social media platform. So they're posting new products every single day or multiple times a day. So always keep that in mind. And the third thing is that they're using Shopify as a way to build their brand and establish it in the market. Now, Etsy is primarily where they're gonna get a lot of sales, but Shopify is really where they're building their brand and they're actually scaling it. So they can get a good start with Etsy, but Shopify Shopify is really where they're growing their print-on-demand business. They're able to capture data and do a lot more that they can't do with Etsy, and they usually do that once they have a pretty big success on the Etsy platform. So because of that, they're using Shopify in order to really build out email lists, to really build out new product collections, and they're starting to source outside of print-on-demand once they hit a certain threshold and they have enough money in the bank account. And this means that they're not just going off one print-on-demand product and hoping that it becomes a success. They literally have multiple products, multiple personalizational offers, and then they start to source outside of print-on-demand to have higher margins. So keep those things in mind. And last but not least, guys, is all about the partners that you choose to work with. Everybody that was at this event chose Gelato as their partner because of the fact that they were able to sell in multiple countries. A lot of these sellers were actually not from the US. They were actually from the European countries selling in the US. So this means that they needed to have a platform that could fulfill orders in the US so it wouldn't contradict with shipping times and all these other things that happen when you try to ship cross-border. So Gelato is a great partner if you're looking to sell in other categories because they make it really easy, from currency conversions to local production and local shipping. They streamline the process of you actually building an international brand. And that, to me, guys, was a reason that it attracted me to work with Gelato, because they're definitely doing something different. Now, it may not be for everybody and it might not be for your brand, but I highly encourage that you guys check them out through the links in the description down below. You guys can create your free account, check it out for yourself, and see if it's going to work for you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that post notification bell to be alerted of future video drops. This is one video that we're starting here with Gelato, and we're going to be really diving into more print-on-demand tactics with them. They're definitely going to be coming and blessing us with some live streams as well as free community trainings. So if you're not part of the community yet, make sure you click the link in the description down below to sign up for free, as we'll be diving into more details in that community over the upcoming weeks. There's a lot of events upcoming, a lot of good stuff there. So if you're not part of that community yet, click the link in the description to join it, and I'll see you guys there. And if you're currently watching this YouTube video and you already have a brand but are looking to scale it to the next level, I encourage that you guys check out this clothing brand empire video that we created. It's jam-packed with 2.5 hours of interviews and guests that are killed it in the industry, are making millions of dollars, and they're sharing their secrets there. So make sure you click on that one, and I'll see you guys there.